The bustling streets of Computer Village froze. Shoppers stopped mid-conversation. Traders paused their haggling. Lying on the dusty concrete, whimpering, was an elderly woman, her faded Ankara wrapper now stained with dirt, her head tie askew, revealing gray-streaked hair. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not just from the physical pain, but from the crushing weight of public shame. Standing over her was a young woman in a crisp white blazer, designer jeans, and stilettos that had no business on these rough streets. Her oversized sunglasses reflected the shocked faces of onlookers, but not the guilt that should have been in her eyes. Arms crossed, voice dripping with contempt, she delivered the words that would soon destroy her life. Next time, old woman, know your place before you touch people's property. You think everyone is on your level? You're nothing but a common street seller, the young woman sneered, leaning down like a predator addressing its prey. My name is Folek Ogundimu. I'm a senior marketing executive at TechFlow Dynamics. Have you heard of it? Of course not. Your entire family probably doesn't make what I spend on lunch. The woman blinked up at her, stunned by the cruelty. I work at the biggest software company in West Africa, Folek added, flipping her Brazilian hair extensions as she turned and walked away into the crowd. People whispered in shock. Phones captured every second. A young man rushed to help the fallen woman to her feet. Mama, are you okay? He asked gently, brushing dust from her clothes. But Folek didn't care. She was already heading toward the electronics store, her mind focused on buying the latest MacBook Pro for her weekend project. What she didn't know, what nobody in that crowded marketplace knew, was that the woman she had just humiliated was Mama Aduni, the beloved mother of Adebayo Adejumo, the billionaire founder and CEO of TechFlow Dynamics. And by Monday morning, her world would be turned upside down. 4 months earlier, Folek Ogundimu had always been a dreamer. Born in the narrow alleys of Ajagunle, she grew up in a face me, I face you compound where privacy was a luxury and dreams often drowned in poverty. But Folek was different. She had the intelligence, the drive, and the unshakable belief that she was destined for greatness. When she gained admission to study mass communication at the University of Lagos on partial scholarship, her grandmother wept with joy. Her mother, who sold roasted plantain by the roadside, worked double shifts to send her money. Her younger brothers looked up to her like she was their personal superhero. She had every reason to stay humble, every reason to remember her roots. But everything changed the day she received that golden email from TechFlow Dynamics. Not just any position, but senior marketing executive at Nigeria's most prestigious tech company. 6-figure salary, company car, luxury apartment in Victoria Island, and access to a world that most marketing graduates could only dream about. Success hit her like a drug, and she became addicted to the high. First, she stopped visiting home regularly, claiming she was too busy with strategic meetings. Then, she stopped sending money to her family as frequently, saying she needed to invest in her image. She traded Danfo buses for Uber rides, traded local food for expensive restaurants in Ikoyi, and joined an elite gym in Lekki where she rubbed shoulders with Lagos's young millionaires. Soon, she cut ties with her old friends from university. You people are holding me back, she told her former roommate Busy during their last phone conversation. I'm in a different league now. She no longer greeted her neighbors or acknowledged the security guards at her office. Instead, she walked with her head high, designer bag swinging, ready to remind anyone who dared approach her. Do you know who I am? I work at TechFlow Dynamics. It was a Thursday evening. Folek had just finished presenting a revolutionary social media campaign for a new fintech app. Her team had applauded her creativity and execution. Adebayo, the mysterious CEO she had never met face-to-face, had even sent a congratulatory message through his assistant. By 6:30 p.m., she grabbed her Prada bag, tossed her access card into her purse, and drove her sleek Honda Accord out of the Victoria Island office, Afrobeats pumping through the speakers. She was craving her favorite jollof rice and grilled chicken, and nobody made it better than Mama Kemi at Computer Village Market. She parked her car in a secure lot and strutted into the bustling marketplace in her business attire, looking completely out of place among the traders and everyday shoppers. As she navigated through the crowded stalls, ignoring greetings and pushing past people, someone accidentally brushed against her handbag. I'm sorry, my daughter, came the gentle voice of an elderly woman in a simple wrapper and blouse, balancing a tray of groundnuts on her head. Please, I didn't mean to bump into you. Folek's eyes flashed with rage. Don't touch me, she snapped, jerking away violently. But the woman, trying to apologize again, reached out her hand. My daughter, Please forgive an old woman. The crowd began to gather as Folake's voice rose to a shout. Are you insane? You touched my designer bag? Do I look like someone on your level? Without warning, she shoved the elderly woman hard. The woman stumbled backward, her tray of groundnuts scattering as she fell to the ground with a painful thud. People gasped. Someone screamed. Others shouted, How can you treat an elder like this? But Folake felt no remorse. She stood over the fallen woman and delivered the words that would soon destroy everything she had worked for. I am Folake Ogundimu, Senior Marketing Executive at TechFlow Dynamics, the biggest software company in West Africa. Your entire generation will never understand what that means. She turned and walked away, leaving the woman in the dust. But hidden in the crowd, multiple phones had recorded the entire incident. And by sunrise, that footage would be everywhere. The woman who had been pushed and humiliated slowly got to her feet with the help of kind strangers. She dusted off her clothes, gathered her scattered groundnuts, and quietly disappeared into the crowd. What nobody knew was that this same woman would soon be sitting in a boardroom in Victoria Island, wearing designer clothes and diamond jewelry, preparing to meet the young lady who had dared to disgrace her. By 8:00 a.m. Monday morning, the glass doors of TechFlow Dynamics opened to reveal an unexpected visitor. She wore an elegant royal blue lace gown that shimmered under the lobby lights. Her steps were confident, her presence commanding. Diamond earrings caught the light as she moved, and her silver hair was styled perfectly in a sophisticated bun. She carried herself with the grace of royalty and the quiet power of someone accustomed to respect. Good morning, Ma. How may I help you? The receptionist asked, standing immediately. The woman smiled warmly. Good morning, dear. I'm here to see Adebayo Adejumo. Please tell him his mother wants to see him. The words hit like lightning. His mother? The receptionist stammered, reaching for the phone with shaking hands. Yes, Ma. Right away, Ma. Upstairs on the 20th floor, in his corner office overlooking Lagos Lagoon, Adebayo Adejumo was reviewing quarterly reports when his secretary knocked. Sir, there's a woman downstairs who says she's your mother. She wants to see you urgently. Adebayo looked up, confused. My mother? He hadn't expected her. Mama Aduni rarely visited his office without calling first. She preferred her quiet life, her small trading business, her church activities. The last time she had come to his workplace was during the company's 7th anniversary celebration. Send her up, he said, worry creeping into his voice. When the elevator doors opened and his mother stepped out in her elegant attire, Adebayo's confusion deepened. She looked beautiful, but there was something in her eyes hurt mixed with determination. Mama, he said, embracing her. What brings you here? Is everything all right? She sat gracefully in the leather chair across from his desk. I'm fine, my son, but I need to see one of your employees, personally. An employee? Adebayo frowned. Which employee? Folake Ogundimu. The name meant nothing special to him, but something in his mother's tone set off alarm bells. He pressed the intercom button. Please ask Folake Ogundimu to come to my office immediately. Downstairs, Folake was showing off her new iPhone to colleagues when the call came through. CEO's office. Now. She grinned confidently. See? I told you guys I'm going places. Probably another promotion coming. She adjusted her blazer, checked her makeup, and strutted toward the elevator like she was walking a red carpet. When she knocked and entered the CEO's office, her smile was brilliant. Good morning, sir, she said cheerfully, then turned to the elegant older woman. Good morning, Ma. But Mama Aduni's expression was unreadable. Adebayo gestured toward his mother. Folake, this is my mother. She specifically asked to meet you. Folake's eyes widened with excitement. Wow, what an honor to meet you, Ma. I'm so excited. We've met before, Mama Aduni said quietly. Folake laughed nervously. I don't think so, Ma. I would definitely remember meeting you. Mama Aduni reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. She tapped the screen and turned it toward Folake. The video began to play. There was Folake in the market, clear as day, in her business clothes and sunglasses. You think everyone is on your level? You're nothing but a common street seller. My name is Folake Ogundimu. I'm a senior marketing executive at TechFlow Dynamics. Your entire family probably doesn't make what I spend on lunch. Then came the push, the fall, the humiliation. Folake's face went white. Her legs buckled. She grabbed the edge of the desk for support. No, Ma, please. I didn't know it was you. I thought you were just what? Mama Aduni asked calmly. A common street seller? Someone not on your level? Adebayo stared at the phone screen in shock, then at Folake, then at his mother. You pushed my mother? His voice was barely a whisper. Sir, please, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't know. You didn't know what? Mama Aduni stood up slowly. You didn't know I was human? You didn't know I deserved basic respect? You thought it was acceptable to humiliate an elderly woman because you assumed she was poor? Folake fell to her knees, tears streaming. Please forgive me. I'll do anything. I'll apologize publicly. Adebayo pressed his intercom. Security, please come to my office and call HR. Please, sir, Folake sobbed. This job is my life. My family depends on me. I made one mistake. Un mistake. Adebayo's voice was cold. You assaulted my mother. You humiliated an elderly woman. You used this company's name to justify cruelty. That's not a mistake. That's character. Within minutes, security arrived. Effective immediately, Adebayo announced, terminate Folake Ogundimu's employment, revoke all access, clear her workstation. As security escorted the sobbing Folake out, Mama Aduni called after her. I'm not pressing charges, not because I can't, but because I want you to learn. You have talent, but your heart is poisoned by pride. Maybe this fall will teach you what success truly means. The news spread through TechFlow Dynamics like wildfire. By lunchtime, everyone knew. Some whispered in shock. Others nodded knowingly they had all seen Folake's arrogance growing over the months. Her company car was reclaimed before she could even ask for mercy. Her access to the Victoria Island apartment was terminated. As she walked out of the gleaming office building, still in shock, the Lagos sun felt different, harsher, less forgiving. She couldn't even afford a taxi home. She sat at a bus stop checking her bank account. 47-0. That wouldn't even cover half of next month's rent for her expensive apartment. For the first time in months, she took a Danfo bus. Squeezed between passengers, the smell of sweat and exhaust overwhelming her, she finally understood what she had lost. Not just a job, but her humanity. The hardest part wasn't the loss of status or money. It was calling her mother that evening. Mama, I lost my job. What happened, my daughter? Folake couldn't bring herself to tell the truth. They said I wasn't a good fit anymore. But her mother had already seen the video. In the age of social media, news traveled fast, even to Ejigunlo. Folake, her mother said sadly, is this really who you've become? The next weeks were brutal. Job applications went nowhere. The viral video followed her everywhere. HR managers recognized her face, her name. Nobody wanted to hire that marketing executive who assaulted an old woman. She moved back to Ajigunle, to the same crowded compound she had tried so hard to escape. Her old room felt smaller than ever, the walls closing in on dreams that had turned to ash. Her brothers looked at her with confusion and disappointment. Her grandmother, who had celebrated her success, now prayed quietly for her redemption. Pride goes before a fall, her mother said gently one evening as they shared a simple meal of rice and stew. But falling doesn't mean you can't get back up. Months passed. Folake took whatever work she could find data entry for her 30, $0 a month, selling airtime at a phone booth, even helping at her mother's roadside food stand. Each job was a lesson in humility. One evening, while walking home from her data entry job, she saw a familiar figure. Mama Aduni was leaving a small church, wearing simple clothes, carrying a bag of food items clearly from a charity outreach. Their eyes met. Folake's first instinct was to run, but something made her stop. Good evening, Ma, she said quietly. Mama Aduni paused, studying her. You look different. I lost everything. My job, my apartment, my pride. I deserved it. The older woman was quiet for a moment. What are you doing now? Whatever I can find. Data entry, helping my mother sell food, trying to remember who I used to be before I became that person. And who were you before? Folake thought about it. Someone who used to help her neighbors. Someone who shared her lunch with classmates who couldn't afford it. Someone who sent half her scholarship money home to help her family. Mama Aduni nodded slowly. That person is still there. She just got lost for a while. 6 months later, Folake received an unexpected call. Miss Ogundimu, this is from TechFlow Dynamics. We have an opening in our community outreach department. Entry-level position. Are you interested in an interview? Folake's heart pounded. Yes, Ma. Yes, I'm very interested. The interview was in the same building where she had once worked, but she entered through a different door. Humble, grateful, changed. The panel included 3 managers she didn't recognize, and at the end of the table, Mama Aduni. "Tell us about yourself," the lead interviewer said. Folake took a deep breath. 6 months ago, I was a different person. I was arrogant, cruel, and completely disconnected from my values. I made a terrible mistake that cost me everything. But losing everything taught me what really matters. Treating people with dignity, no matter who they are or where they come from. "Why should we hire you?" another interviewer asked. "Because I understand what it feels like to fall. And now I want to spend my life helping others rise." At the end of the interview, Mama Aduni spoke. The community outreach role involves working with street vendors, small traders, and entrepreneurs in local markets. You'd be helping them access technology and training. Are you comfortable with that? Folake smiled, thinking of her mother's roadside business, her own recent humbling experiences. "Ma, that would be perfect. Those are my people. That's where I come from." A week later, she got the job. Her first assignment was creating a digital literacy program for market traders in Computer Village, the same market where she had once humiliated an elderly woman selling groundnuts. As she walked through those familiar stalls, wearing simple clothes and carrying training materials, vendors greeted her warmly. Some recognized her from the viral video, but they saw something different now. Humility, respect, genuine care. "Sister, you've changed," one trader observed. "Yes," Folake replied. "I had to fall down to learn how to stand up properly." Every Friday, she visited her mother's food stand, helping serve customers, and remember where she came from. Her brothers looked up to her again, not because of her job title, but because of who she had become. 1 year later, at TechFlow Dynamics' annual community event, Folake stood before hundreds of small business owners she had trained and supported. "A wise woman once told me that falling doesn't mean you can't get back up," she said, looking at Mama Aduni in the audience. "Sometimes we need to lose everything to find what truly matters. We need to fall to learn how to lift others." After the event, Mama Aduni approached her. "You've become the person you were always meant to be." "Thank you for giving me a second chance, Ma." "I didn't give you a second chance," the older woman smiled. "You earned it. You chose to change, to grow, to serve. That's what second chances really are, not gifts, but choices." As Folake drove home that evening in a modest car, to a simple apartment, to a life built on humility rather than pride, she reflected on her journey. She had lost a prestigious job, but found her purpose. She had lost her arrogance, but found her humanity. The street vendor had taught her the most valuable lesson of all. True success isn't about looking down on others, it's about lifting them up. Every person deserves dignity. Every elder deserves respect. And every fall can become a foundation for rising higher than before. The Computer Village market buzzed with activity every Saturday morning. In a small training center tucked between electronics stalls, dozens of traders gathered for digital literacy classes. Folake had been running these sessions for 2 years now, teaching market vendors how to use smartphones for business, how to accept digital payments, how to reach customers online. "Teacher Folake," called out Mama Kemi, the woman who sold the joll of rice Folake used to buy during her arrogant days. "My son wants to learn computer too. Can he join?" "Of course, Mama. Bring him next week." As the traders filed out, chatting excitedly about setting up WhatsApp business accounts, Mama Aduni appeared in the doorway. "How are the classes going?" she asked. "Better than I ever imagined. We've trained over 500 traders this year. Their businesses are growing, their children are learning technology. It feels like real impact." Mama Aduni nodded approvingly. "You know, Adebayo told me something interesting yesterday." "What's that?" "The board wants to promote you to head the entire community development division." Folake paused in packing up her materials. "Mama, I'm exactly where I need to be. The title doesn't matter anymore. The work does." "Now you sound like someone who truly understands success." Outside, the Lagos sun painted the busy market in golden light. Street vendors counted their day's earnings, children ran between stalls, and the rhythm of honest work filled the air. Folake walked to her Honda Civic, practical, affordable, bought with money earned through service rather than ego. As she drove through the familiar streets, her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. "Proud of you, my daughter. Family dinner tomorrow?" She smiled, remembering when such simple invitations had seemed beneath her. Now they were the highlight of her week. At a traffic light, she noticed an elderly man struggling with heavy bags of groceries. Without hesitation, she parked and helped him load them into a taxi. "God bless you, my daughter," he said gratefully. You're welcome, sir. The word daughter no longer felt like an insult. It was a reminder of her place in the human family, connected, responsible, humble. As she drove home, Folich whispered a prayer of thanksgiving. She had lost a job that fed her ego and found work that fed her soul. The street vendor had taught her the greatest lesson of all. We are all connected, we all deserve dignity, and kindness is the truest measure of success. Sometimes we must fall to remember how to truly stand. Sometimes we must lose ourselves to find who we're meant to become. And sometimes the person who teaches us the most profound lesson is the one we least expect to learn from. The market continues to buzz. The lessons continue to echo. And somewhere in Lagos, another young person is learning that success without humility is not success at all. It's just pride waiting to fall.